What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. This is your predicted lineup for the massive game against Eintracht Frankfurt. The second leg, 1-1 in the first leg, obviously, and some positive injury news to talk about.
So, back in training today, Kevin Ganso, for the first time in a month, back in training, which is really great to see, and I will have to wait to see if he's available for the matchday squad, but he's back in training. Wilson Odobert and Son, who both got left out for the game against Wolves, not in the squad. They were also pictured in training, so that's also really positive news. Other than that, got a clean bill of health. Everyone else was also seen in training. We saw Decky there as well, who's obviously recovering, who recovered and obviously played his minutes against Wolves. So the only one left is Radu Dragushin, who's obviously not going to be seen until next year.
Yeah, an extremely long-time absentee in Radu Dragushin, but I mean, how long has it been since we've seen a bill of health like this?
Yeah, long time. 84 years.
Yeah, but this is probably the most important lineup Ange Postecoglou has ever had to make as Tottenham manager, and most definitely our biggest game of the season. And it's going to be such an intense game tomorrow night out in Frankfurt. Recording this just before Sim boards the flight to Frankfurt, so he's looking forward to all the festivities out there. Let's hope he brings home a place in the semi-final.
You bet.
But let's get into it. 4-3 as per usual, and in goal, obviously, Vicario, and he's going to have a better performance than last time out because it was a terrible performance.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Very nervy against Wolves, and I don't think he's going to be under any less pressure in that game than he is in this game. So going to have to cope with it a lot better, it's fair to say. But I back him because he's put in some big performances for us, so it's going to be another big one on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving into the defence. Now, actually, quite a few questionable decisions or, decisions to debate around the pitch, because for right back, you've got a toss-up between Pedro Porro and Jed Spence. On the weekend against Southampton, it was Porro and...
No, it was Gray.
Sorry, it was Gray and Spence, yeah. So which does suggest to me that it will be Pedro Porro at right back.
I think it's going to be Pedro Porro right back. I think he had a great first leg, obviously scored the goal, adds a lot to us also from set pieces. He has great delivery. I think he was taking some great set pieces in the first leg. So off the back of that performance and the fact he was rested against Wolves, I do think he comes back in again.
Yeah, and it was very clear, wasn't it? The game before the first leg, he also rested Destiny Udogie. I think Spence played, right? So we were like, but how can you leave Spence out for Frankfurt? Maybe he's going to play twice in a week. But his team selection that day really did reflect the game on the weekend, the game on Thursday. So I think this will be the same. So I think it's going to be Pedro Porro at right back and Destiny Udogie at left back, which, Spence is very unlucky to miss out on both these games, quarterfinals, which is a shame for him. But in the first leg, Pedro and particularly Destiny played really well.
Yeah, and I don't think you can take that away from him. I think it was a fantastic performance from Destiny. So I think the fact that those were two of our better players in the first leg and the fact that we dominated and played really well and should have won, unlucky not to win, I think Ange is going to want to try and replicate that kind of performance. So I do think it goes with those two fullbacks who dominated on those sides.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that I think it's going to be a different game out in Frankfurt, and I think you're going to see a different Frankfurt side with the amazing crowd that they have behind them. And I think they're going to try and attack us a bit more, seeing as they are the home team and maybe a bit more in the ascendancy. So I probably, if I was picking the line, I probably would go Spence at right back and Destiny at left back, just to add that bit more of a defensive solidity.
Yeah, I think there's a good case for it. But you could always bring Spence on, I guess. You also have the option if one of Porro or Destiny are kind of tiring, you can come on either side, so you can kind of make that judgment call. I think there's a good case for it because they're going to be putting it on us a bit more, and we're going to have to be a bit more solid, especially in those one-on-one duels on the wing. So Porro's not the strongest in that. So I understand that way of thinking, but I also think what Porro gives you, with his ability, composure on the ball, ability to play long passes, I think that could be very useful as well in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. But moving on to the centre-back positions, no question who's going to be playing there. It will be Cuti Romero on the right, Mickey van der Ven on the left. I was very angry with Romero after his performance at Wolves, but I have no doubt that we're going to see a different Cuti Romero in this game. I think he's going to be playing at 100 million miles an hour. I think he's going to have a good performance, particularly alongside the reliable Mickey van der Ven.
Yeah, and I think those two look so much better together in the last leg. I know Ekitike scored, but other than that, they offered very little. I thought Romero and Van der Ven were winning their duels and doing really well. So they're going to have a lot more pressure on in this game. It's going to be more about how compact we are and picking up your men and those kind of things, rather than just picking up the long balls and sustaining the pressure, which is what it was basically in the first leg. But those two together, I think, to be fair, how many times have we seen them together since they come back against RZ in the first leg?
Just the Europa League and Chelsea, yeah.
And the Europa League. So we've been a lot better when them two are together. So hopefully they can keep that partnership going.
Yeah. So how many goals is that conceded? 2? 3?
2.
1 goal a game.
2. 3.
Yeah.
One goal a game, yeah.
So that is the back four, exactly the same back four as it was in the first leg. Porro, Udogie, Romero and Van der Ven. In the 6, I think this one also kind of picked itself. And as well, looking back at the team that played against Wolves, he did get the rest, came on for the last 20 minutes or so. So I think Rodrigo Bentancur takes the 6.
Yeah, agreed. Had a great game in the first leg against Frankfurt as well, so he's going to have to repeat that. I saw, I was looking at the Frankfurt team, they did rest Larson in that midfield on the weekend, so whether he'll be fresher or not, there's a good bet he would be, but I think Bentancur really dominated in the midfield on the night, so hopefully he can do the same.
Another player who got a rest on the weekend, who came on with around half an hour to go, was Lucas Bergvall, and he's most definitely starting in the midfield.
No doubt about it. First name on the midfield team sheet at the moment, so I think he has to start. He came on, obviously made that mistake against Wolves. I'm sure we'll be looking to make up for that.
Yeah. And to make up that midfield 3, it's basically a toss-up between James Maddison and Dejan Kulusevski. Now, Maddison has started the last 4 games in quick succession. He did seem to tire in the second half against Wolves. Dejan Kulusevski came on in that game, in his first game back in a while. Is he fully fit to start the game is the big question here. I'm going to say that Ange is just going to throw him in there. I think that he looked decent when he came on. He looked like at good physical levels. And James Maddison, look, he's been performing all right recently, but I just feel that he's going to want Decky in there.
I feel like he would, but I have a feeling he might play him on the wing, because in the big games he's played him on the wing before, hasn't he? So I'm torn between whether he's going to take Maddison out the firing line and put Decky in, or is he going to put him on the wing and play them both?
But the thing is, I would potentially like to see that. However, Maddison has just played a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Last 4 games, he's barely played twice in a week all season, and suddenly he's played the last 4. He's played a hell of a lot of football, and I just don't know if he can even start the game.
I feel like it'll be a few days between Thursday and Sunday, and the fact that he's played in quick succession, he says he's feeling good, and that's why he's been playing him. So I do think he can play right now, apparently, for some one reason or other. So I do think he will. I think he will start Maddison in this game. So I think it's whether Decky plays on the wing, or I think, to be honest, I don't think he starts in midfield. I'd be surprised if he did. I would be. If I'd had my money, I'd say he's going to go with Maddison, and either Decky on the wing or on the bench. That's
I would like to see it, to be fair, because they're going to play a back 3 with wing-back system. You want to see Decky's physicality out there on the right-hand side. But again, you look at it, both of them have question marks over them in Decky and Maddison in terms of fitness. Maddison only because he's played so much football, Decky just because he's coming back. Is there a case to say that both of them will just play a part in the game instead of both starting the game? Because you could easily see maybe Decky starting, playing the first hour, then bringing on Maddison for the last half an hour.
Yeah, or the other way around.
Other way around, yeah.
Which way is he going to go? Is he really going to take Maddison out of the team for this one? Or is he but big call. I think he's going to start Maddison in the midfield. I really do. But you think he's going to start Decky?
Look, I'm happy to go for Maddison, but I feel like they're just going to be switched throughout the game. But I'm happy to go for Maddison if you feel that strongly about it. But I just feel it will be Decky. But again, 4 games in the last 2 weeks is a lot for Madison, and we haven't seen it all season.
Yeah, I know, but I wonder why he's doing it now.
Because he's under massive pressure.
But you criticised him for doing it before.
I criticised him to do it before Europa League. I think it was the Europa League game. I can't remember why. It was the league game. I criticised him not starting because of the fitness of Maddison-Kulusevski. That's why, because Decky was being run into the ground. And now it's like Maddison's being run into the ground.
But he hasn't, I think he can do it.
All right, well, we're going to go for Bentancur, Bergvall and Maddison in the midfield 3. And I assume you want to go Decky on the right then?
Yeah, that's an interesting one because Odebear's back in training. Brennan's obviously there, but I'd rather not start him, to be honest. There's Tell, Mikey Moore. Also, I've got a lot of options there. But yeah, I've got a feeling if he is going to start Decky, it's going to be on the right. That's my feeling. But then again, problem with that is if he starts on the right and he starts to, and if he's not going to be able to play 90 minutes, I think I would like to see Decky in the middle at some point. And whether if he starts on the right, will we not be able to see him at any point in the middle, if you know what I mean? Because if he starts to get tired, he'll just get taken off.
No, the only way you see Decky in the middle is if he starts there or if he comes on in the last half an hour, 20 minutes for Maddison.
Yeah, I think that's what I think.
And also, you look at it, Maddison never plays 90 minutes. So he's gonna come off at some point, whether it be 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go. And if Decky starts on the right, then who's going to come on for him?
Odebear. John, got options.
For Maddison.
For Maddison. So maybe we don't start Decky then.
I think Decky will start. But I think he's going to start in the middle. But go for Decky on the right then. But I genuinely believe I think it's going to be Decky in the middle and one of Johnson or Odebear out on the right.
Is Odebear ready to start after he had a bit of a problem? But he obviously got left out. But maybe he will start. Maybe he's ready to start. I would like to see Odebear start. That's what I would do. If he's fully fit, I would go Odebear. Maybe Decky in the middle and have Maddison on the bench potentially.
That's what I think it will be.
I don't think it will be that, though. I think he's going to start Maddison. I just
Why
can't
do
see
you
him
feel
leaving
so
him out.
strongly about that?
Because he's an important player for him, and I think he's been playing well. So I don't think there's any real reason to leave him out. I thought he was really.
The only reason to leave him out is because of the amount of football he's played, and also the return of Decky. That's the reason.
Yeah, but if he was worried about his fitness recently, he wouldn't have played him. But he has been playing him, so I think he's going to play again.
Also, he might have played him at Wolves, assuming Decky's going to be starting the game.
Yeah, I just feel like he's going to play him. I think he's very important to how we play Maddison. Actually, really important. So I think he's going to be one. He's going to want him in the team.
All right. So on the right hand side, we are going to go for Maddison-Kulusevski. In the 9, there is a question there to be had between Richarlison and Solanke. However, I do think it will be Solanke that's going to be starting the game. I mean, it's a difficult one because Richarlison came on and scored. He scored 2 goals since and an injury in between before Solanke's even scored a goal, which is mad to think about. But I think what Solanke brings to the team, Richarlison just can't do that. And I feel like if Richarlison starts, we'll be calling for Doms to come on at some point during the game. And if Dom starts, if he plays like he has been, we'll be calling for Richarlison to come on. But let's hope that Dom kind of can dust these poor performances off and in this one-off game just have the game of his life, really.
Yeah, I think Doms could be very important in this game. If we can get him back to that feeling he was feeling near the beginning of the season where he was looking strong, confident, holding the ball up, that is going to be really important in a game where we're going to be under serious pressure. Frankfurt are going to really put us under a lot of pressure with their pressing, and the crowd are going to be on top of us. Having moments where Solanke can just win the ball, win a free kick, relieve the pressure a bit. I think he's a lot better at doing that than Richarlison. So I know he's in bad form. I know he's not playing well, not scoring goals, but I think just the player could be so important in this game. So I do think he's going to start.
And also on top of that, if this is the lineup that he's going to go for, to have him and Kulusevski in that front line, both physical beasts, you know what I mean? It'll be hard for Frankfurt to handle a bit. So on the left-hand side, to complete that lineup, we are going to go for Son Heung-min. Left out the squad completely against Wolves. And yeah, Ange did say he had a bit of a knock going into that game, but I think the main thinking was just to keep him completely fresh for this one.
Yeah, for sure. And we know when Son's been looking fresher this season, he's been looking a lot better. So hopefully we see a lot better Son than we did even in the first leg, where he was quite disappointing. I think Son in these kind of games away from home, where we're looking to counter when we need to maybe counter a bit more, he's so important in these kind of games. We've seen it time and time again. So if we can get any opportunity to put him through on goal and exploit the space, he's the best at doing that. So he's going to be super important, I think.
Yeah, and you're looking at that, that's pretty much more or less our best team that we can play, full strength team. You've got players on the bench as well, options to change it, whether it be Spence, Odegaard, Johnson, Richarlison. You've got options off the bench there if we really need going into the last stage of the game, which we'll most definitely need. So let's run through this lineup one more time. It's Vicario in goal, Porro right back, Udogie left back, Romero and Van der Ven in the centre back positions, Bentancur, Bergvall and Maddison in the middle three, Decky on the right, Sonny on the left and Big Dom up top. So yeah, I mean, very strong side.
Yeah, if we're ever going to make it through, that'll be the side to do it. So let's hope that really steps up for us. Yeah, it's a big game and needs a big team.
All right, well, Sim about to board the plane to Frankfurt. So I wish him the best of luck and let's hope he can come back with a place in the semi-final and hopefully flights to Bodo booked as well. But
or Rome,
but hopefully Bodo. But look, that is our lineup. Let us know in the comment section below. Do you think that will be the lineup? If not, put yours in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.